Short haircuts for round-face women after 60. Some shortcuts slim your face. Others make it look like a dinner roll. Harsh? Maybe. But if you've ever walked out of a salon, looked in the mirror, and thought, why do I look puffier? You know exactly what I mean. It's not just a bad hair day. It's a bad strategy. Because for women with round faces over 60, the wrong short haircut doesn't just miss the mark. It adds years, softens everything in the wrong places, and drags the whole face down. And yet, we're still told to cut it all off. It's easier, they say. It's flattering. Flattering for who? This video is your shortcut out of that mess. We're breaking down the styles that actually lift, contour, and energize a round face after 60, without going harsh or severe. No more safe cuts that erase your angles. Let's bring back your edge. And wait till you see number 5. It's what stylists give themselves. Style number 1. The soft shag with face-framing layers. Messy used to mean unkempt. Now, it means alive. For decades, we were told to tame our hair. Keep it neat, keep it simple. But somewhere along the way, neat started to mean flat. And flat on a round face, that's like putting a spotlight on the widest part. Let me introduce you to the soft shag with face-framing layers, a total game changer if your goal is to lift, elongate, and bring movement back to your look. This cut isn't about chaos. It's about controlled softness that wakes your features up. Here's how it works. The shag uses graduated layers throughout, but the magic lives in the way those layers fall around your face. When done right, they gently carve out the sides of your cheeks and pull the eye down, not across, giving you that subtle, slimming effect without a single ounce of makeup. And here's the best part. This cut forgives. It grows out beautifully, doesn't need perfect styling, and actually looks better a little tousled. It says, I know who I am, and I don't need to prove it with a flat iron. I once met a woman named Dee, early 60s, retired professor, razor-sharp wit. She said, I don't want a makeover. I want to feel like me again, before I started making everyone else comfortable. We gave her a soft shag, feathered layers near the cheekbones, and a bit of texture at the ends. When she looked in the mirror, she didn't gasp. She smirked. Because this isn't a loud haircut. It's a quiet rebellion. Here's what not to do. Don't ask for heavy layers or thick bangs that box your face in. The beauty of a soft shag is in the air between the strands. It needs movement, not weight. So if you've been feeling like your current cut just sits there, this one moves with you. And if you think that's good, wait till the next part. We're going even shorter, but it might be the most elegant cut you've never considered. Style number 2. The side-swept pixie with a tapered neck. I like it, but I feel exposed. That's what my friend Carla said the first time she tried a pixie. And I got it. A short cut on a round face can feel like turning on a spotlight. Suddenly, there's nowhere to hide, right? But here's the twist. It's not about how short the cut is. It's about where the shape lands. Enter the side-swept pixie with a tapered neck, the not-so-secret favorite of women who want something easy. Sharp and yes, flattering as hell. This isn't the cropped military-style pixie that flattens everything out. This is the kind that whispers softness and strength at the same time. It leaves length at the front, a sweeping, angled fringe that draws across your forehead and cheekbone, while hugging the nape with a gentle taper that lifts everything upward. And if you've got a round face, that asymmetry is your best friend. Here's why it works. That long side fringe breaks the symmetry of your face and redirects attention. Suddenly, it's less about round and more about cheekbone. The tapered back creates height and lift without bulk, making your profile sleeker. And the bit of volume up top, think subtle lift, not helmet hair. It's soft, it's intentional, and it moves. This cut gives off that cool, older woman who knows what suits her energy. Like, no, she didn't try to look 30. She just looks done right. And yes, it's low maintenance. You can style it with your fingers and a bit of texture paste in under 3 minutes. But here's the thing, it still looks styled. It gives structure to your day, even when you're running errands in sneakers and no makeup. Let me paint a picture. Imagine waking up, brushing your hair once, and actually liking what you see in the mirror. No blow dry, no teasing, no complicated layers to flatten out. Just a face that feels seen again, framed, lifted, and balanced. But here's the catch. This cut has to be tailored. If it's too blunt at the bottom or too short in the fringe, it'll work against you. A good stylist will angle the front just right, grazing the cheekbone or stopping right near the corner of the mouth, depending on your proportions. And don't let anyone convince you that pixie cuts age you. That's not the cut talking. That's the wrong version of the cut talking. I've seen this style take 10 years off someone's vibe. Not because she looks younger, but because she finally looks clear, like herself, minus the outdated baggage. So if you're tempted to go short but afraid of losing softness, this is your bridge. It's bold, but it doesn't shout. And in the next part, we're leaving neatness behind entirely and letting the hair speak. You might be surprised what it says. Style number 3, the French-inspired boyish crop. Warning, this one breaks rules and turns heads. Let's talk about the haircut most women think they can't pull off. The French-inspired boyish crop. Yes, it's short. Yes, it's bold. And no, it's not too much for a woman over 60. In fact, I'd argue this cut might be just enough. Picture this. Softly clipped sides, textured layers that follow the curve of your head, and a slightly longer fringe swept forward or to the side, not sharp, not spiky, just effortless. Think Juliette Binoche meets Annie Lennox, with a glass of good red wine in hand, and a take me or leave me kind of look. This style works because it doesn't beg to be liked. It doesn't try to flatter every angle, and in doing so, it ends up flattering the whole woman. Here's the catch. It doesn't hide anything, and that's the point. So many cuts for round-faced women after 60 are designed to cover, to conceal the jawline, to slim the cheeks, to stretch the neck visually. But the boyish crop flips the script. It opens everything up. And if that sounds terrifying, it's probably a sign you've been wearing your hair like armor. This cut doesn't armor you. It frees you. I had a client, Marla, 67, retired nurse, cheekbones for days, but always hiding behind shoulder-length hair. One day, she said, "I want people to see me before they see the haircut." We went for it. Textured crop, soft at the edges, and just a little fringe for movement. When she looked in the mirror, she didn't gasp. She exhaled. Finally, she said, "I look like I stopped trying to disappear." Here's why this cut works so well on rounder faces. The close crop around the ears and nape opens the face, which elongates the head visually. The texture on top gives it lift, which adds height, not width. And that fringe? It gives just enough softness to balance the bold shape. It's not masculine, it's minimal. That's the difference. And let's be honest, short cuts like this can feel scary because they take away the hiding spots. But what they give you in return is presence, definition, energy. Also, it's fun. It's the kind of cut that makes you want to wear a bold earring or skit makeup because you don't need it. If you're looking for a reset, not just for your hair, but for how you walk into a room, this one's your rebel moment. And next up, we're easing back into softness. Face framing, light-catching softness, with a twist you might not expect. Style number 4, the textured cut with curtain bangs. She hadn't seen her cheekbones in years. That's what she said to me, softly, almost like a confession. Her hair had been in the same shapeless mid-length cut for over a decade. One of those styles that just exists. Not offensive, not exciting, just there. And when she finally pushed her hair out of her face in the mirror, her expression shifted. Not because she suddenly looked younger, but because she looked present. If you've ever felt like your hair is hiding you, not out of shame, but out of habit, then the textured cut with curtain bangs might be exactly what you've been waiting for. This is the cut that doesn't scream for attention, but quietly reveals what's been there all along. The layers are subtle, soft, barely there until they catch the light. And the curtain bangs, they part gently at the center or just off to the side, opening your face like a window cracked for fresh air. What makes this style so powerful for women with round faces over 60 is its shape-shifting quality. It adapts. The textured layers bring movement, lifting the hair slightly away from the face, creating depth and dimension without heaviness. And those bangs? They graze the brows and temples in just the right way to lengthen the face and spotlight the eyes, not the width. It's romantic without being precious, youthful without pretending. A woman I worked with once told me she didn't feel beautiful anymore. Not in a dramatic way, more like an old sweater you stop noticing. We softened her layers, added a delicate fringe that framed her eyes like drapery in warm light. A week later, she emailed me. She didn't say, "I love my haircut." She said, "I feel visible again." There's a quiet confidence in that. This style also plays beautifully with gray or silver hair, the kind of tones that reflect light instead of hiding it. The texture helps those lighter shades sparkle and move instead of looking flat or washed out. The best part? It grows out gracefully. No hard lines, no awkward phases. You can tuck the bangs, sweep them aside, let the layers soften even more with time. It's forgiving, and over 60, that matters more than we admit. So if you've been holding on to a safe cut out of habit, the kind that doesn't offend but doesn't delight either, maybe it's time for something softer. Not louder, not trendier, just more you. And the final style we're about to explore? It's for the woman who's ready to wear her face completely, with zero apology and just enough edge to keep them guessing. Style number 5, the Chin-Grazing blunt cut with deep side part. They say blunt cuts widen your face. That's only true when you forget the part. Let's break a little myth wide open. Not all blunt cuts are enemies of the round face. In fact, with the right tweak, they can be sharper, sleeker, and more facelifting than half the trendy, over-layered styles floating around right now. Enter the Chin-Grazing blunt cut with a deep side part, a clean, confident shape that flatters rounder faces in a surprisingly bold way. It's not layered, it's not feathery, and that's exactly why it works. The trick is in the architecture. A blunt line right at the chin draws a visual boundary. It defines the lower face and gives the illusion of structure. But on its own, it risks making a round face look boxy. That's where the deep side part comes in. By sweeping the hair off-center, it instantly disrupts the symmetry and draws the eye diagonally across your features, lengthening your look and opening the face without a single snip of layering. I once worked with a woman named Teresa. She had the softest, most open face and had spent years hiding it behind overly layered, softening cuts that only made her features blur together. We gave her a precise blunt cut, tucked it just under her chin, and parted it deep to one side. Her first reaction? She stood up straighter. Not because it made her feel younger, because it made her feel defined. And here's what surprised her most. People didn't comment on the haircut. They commented on her face. You look rested. You look shumper. You look like yourself, but more polished. That's the mark of a good cut. And if you're someone who hates fuss, blow dryers, products, constant trims, this one's your dream. It air dries into a clean shape, tucks behind the ear elegantly, and doesn't demand volume or teasing to look finished. You can wear it smooth or with a subtle bend, and it still reads intentional. If you're still holding on to the belief that blunt equals harsh, let me flick the mirror. What if you just haven't seen it done right for your face? What if the softness you're craving isn't in the cut? It's in the confidence it frames. This is the kind of haircut that doesn't ask for attention. It commands it, quietly, stylishly, with that "I've lived a little, I've edited a lot" kind of presence. Here's the truth they don't print in beauty magazines. You don't need to look younger. You just need to feel clearer, more lifted, more like the you who never really went anywhere. She just got buried under a few decades of shoulds. Because short hair after 60, it isn't a compromise. It's a choice, a loud, liberating one. If you pick a cut that speaks your truth instead of muting it. We've covered edgy crops, soft shags, sculpted bobs, and everything in between. But the real takeaway? You're allowed to take up space, with cheekbone skimming layers, with structure, with movement. Your round face isn't something to fix. It's something to frame. So if even one of these styles made you pause and think, that could be me, don't let it be just a thought. Screenshot it. Ask for it. Try it. Because the right haircut doesn't chase youth. It reveals you. With a little more light, a little more lift, and a lot more you. Tell me below, which one are you tempted to try? Or better yet, which one already feels like your next chapter?